This car has a big waiting list, and for us today, the wait is over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rev Explorers. I am Abhinav Bhatnagar, and today we are going to review the Mahindra Thar. Special thanks to Unnati Motors for providing us this car for the review. If you are in Pune and looking for a Mahindra dealership, just visit their dealership, you'll get the best deal. And don't worry, because they're keeping your safety in mind and following all the guidelines issued by the government. And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss out great content from Rev Explorers. In today's video, we are going to review the Mahindra Thar, and it is going to be an off-road review and then a short city review. We let you know how this vehicle performs and is it worth the wait of 9 months. For some cities, it is more than that. The second generation Mahindra Thar is completely different from its predecessor. Everything has changed and it just looks like the Jeep Wrangler, which is very good because looks does matter. Now the Mahindra Thar is offered in 10 different variants with a hard top and a soft top, with diesel engine and petrol engine, with automatic and manual. The Thar is available in 6 different colors, and now let's talk about the engine. Because over here you get a brand new 2.2 liter M-Hawk engine, which is a diesel engine and delivers a maximum power of 130 bhp at 3750 rpm and has a peak torque of 300 Newton meters spread between 1600 rpm to 2800 rpm. And this one is mated with a 6-speed manual transmission. However, you do get an option of 6-speed automatic. The other option is M Stallion 2 liter petrol engine, which generates a maximum power of 150 bhp. Now this is crazy, because the petrol engine is delivering much more power with similar torque figures. The remote key of Thar is very basic, just like the XUV. So you have just 3 buttons: lock button, unlock button, and then is the find the car button, which basically activates the blinkers. Mahindra has built this car from scratch. Everything on this car is new. Hence in the front you have this big vertical grille, and this car is a blend of retro design with latest technology. So you do get halogen headlamps which are round in shape, but then you have LED DRLs mounted over the turn indicators. And then is this big bumper with Thar badging on it, and it is actually very big that you can sit on it. On the bumper are halogen fog lamps, and with that the Mahindra Thar gets tow hook in the front as well as in the rear. From the side profile, definitely this car looks really masculine, and you have this cladding running from the front wheel arc to the footboard and then to the rear wheel arc. The second generation Thar gets 18-inch alloy wheels. Mounted on that are 255 by 65 C8 tires, which works really well when it comes to the off-roads. You get discs in the front and drums in the rear, and they work really well. And these chunky wheels give it a ground clearance of 226 mm, which is required for these off-roads. With that, the car has a water wading capacity of 650 mm, so it can go through anything. On the right fender you get a Thar badging, and on the left one you get a M-Hawk or M Stallion badging, depending upon which engine you choose. And with that is a small antenna for your AM and FM. Thar gets electronic ORVMs. Now they are not electronically retractable, but can be controlled from inside electronically. Now this Thar gets 3 doors, 2 in the front and 1 side hinge in the rear. The front ones are detachable, so you can anytime remove it and just put it away and use the car in the naked configuration. And do not worry about the hardtop, because that is also detachable. You can remove it and have a completely naked Thar. You have square windows on the front door, and for the rear passenger is a big rectangle window which cannot be opened, but then the passengers can enjoy the view. At the rear is a flat drop, just like a box, and then you have this 18-inch spare wheel mounted on the rear door. With that, in the rear are LED tail lights with bulb turn indicators and reverse light. Now, as I already said, this is a side hinge door, so when you open this one, Only the lower half opens up and you have space to keep roughly 3 to 4 bags. That's it. So you have no boot space as such in this vehicle. You can also open the top half by just sliding this window up, and now you can access the complete boot, although it doesn't make much of a difference. With that, in the rear, the second generation Thar gets reverse parking sensors but misses out on the reverse parking camera. Oh, this is a big step, and we are inside the second generation Thar. Starting with the seats, the driver one gets seat height adjustment as well as lumbar support adjustment. And both the front seats are very good. They are sporty and they keep you intact while you are jumping and bumping on the off-road adventures. The doors are pretty basic, but they are better than the first generation Thar. You get ample amount of pocket for the bottle as well as an umbrella. And then you have Thar badging on the doors. So on the driver door, you have control to the ORVM and no control for the window, because just like the Scorpio first generation, you have the controls in the center, which is slightly uncomfortable. Now the dashboard is pretty basic, but it holds all the technology you need in this car. It is made of black hard plastic and it is required for an off-roader like this. The best thing is the attention to detail that Mahindra has given to the center console, because everything over here is water resistant. Coming to the steering wheel, which now gets steering mounted controls. On the right hand side you have the cruise control and the voice command control, and on the left hand side are the multimedia controls for the volume, source and track change, which are doubled up for call, receive and disconnect. There are few buttons on the right lower side of the dash, so you have the traction off control, the hill descent control, and then these are the controls for the MID on the instrument cluster. Well, the instrument cluster is pretty basic. You have two analog dials, one is the tachometer, the other one is the speedometer, and then in the center is a colored MID which shows an animation of Thar whenever you start the car, which is slightly sluggish but looks really cool. The center MID shows multiple information. On the left hand side is the engine temperature gauge, on the right hand side is the fuel gauge, and in the center are multiple information for average fuel efficiency, distance to empty. With that you have the digital speedometer, power terrain information, warning history, settings for the MID, and the trip meter with trip time, plus in the bottom is the odometer. And with that you have multiple warning lights spread across the instrument cluster. The center console holds the 7-inch infotainment display, which does get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. In fact, the sound quality is also good. Let's check it out. With that, it has something called as Adventure Statistics, which when selected on-road will give you information like speed, odometer, power percentage, torque percentage, digital compass, and then the G monitor. And when you switch to off-road, it will show you the power terrain mode with the gear you are engaged in. With that is the inclination of the car, the engine temperature gauge and the center of gravity. You can also customize it by using the custom button and also share it on Facebook, WhatsApp and Twitter. This is a really cool add-on on the second generation Thar and I really love it. Below the infotainment display are round piano black AC vents with a carbon fiber finish. The design looks really neat. However, the plastic quality of the vent and the adjustment smoothness is not the best in the class, but then the AC effectiveness is superb. And below the AC vents are HAVC control, although you do not get climatic control, but I feel it is fine. With that, Mahindra Thar offers two USB ports. So one is for mobile charging and one is for connection with the infotainment display. Along with that is a 3.5mm jack and a 12-volt charging socket. And at the bottom is a space to keep your wallet and mobile phone. But I'll advise not to do so while going on off-roads. Now this is the place where magic happens. You get two levers, one is short and one is tall. The shorter one is used to control the 4x4 mode, so you can set it on 2 high, 4 high, neutral or 4 low depending upon the terrain you are driving in. And then the taller one is the main gear lever. Behind the gear lever are the window controls which I was talking about, and then you have the handbrake and two cup holders. In front of the co-passenger seat is an airbag and below that is a grab rail. With that is a small glove compartment and a subwoofer for the music system. Thinking where the other speakers are? Well, they are on the rooftop. 2 speakers and 2 tweeters. With that is a center LED cabin light. In terms of safety, this car gets an inbuilt roll cage And as I've already said, it gets 4-star global NCAP rating. It has dual airbags, ABS with EBD and ESP with rollover mitigation. That much is enough for this car. Did I mention the approach angle of this car is 42 degrees and the departure angle is 37 degrees. And now it's time for us to take it on a drive. Front row comfort on the second generation Thar is undoubtedly amazing. The seats are comfortable with ample amount of thigh support. In fact, they are bucket seats so that you are always tucked in, even on off-road adventures. The legroom is also spacious, and it is worth mentioning that the AC is very effective. In fact, it gives you chills. The story in the rear seat is slightly different. It is a flat upright seat which is suitable only for 2 people due to the large wheel hump. The legroom is decent as the front seats are scooped out. However, I still feel that the rear row is best suited for children rather than adults, especially when considering long rides or off-roads, because you do get tossed around in the rear seat while going on off-roads. The best thing about this car is that it's not tech overloaded. You do get whatever is needed to make it a hardcore off-roader, and that's it. So you do not see multiple sensors and electronic buttons assisting you all the time. Everything is as capable as you. So it does have 4x4 which can be switched between 2 high, 4 high and 4 low depending upon the terrain, and it is not push of a button away. Instead, it gets a lever to switch it in an old-fashioned way. But it's definitely better than the first generation Thar. For soft off-roads, you can drive in the high gears, that is 2 high and 4 high with traction off. But when things get sludgy, 4 low is all that you have, and it is very torquey. In fact, walking the car feature in the start of the video has been showcased from this mode itself. The torque is absolutely amazing in 4 low. In the first gear itself, the car easily climbs gradients without any throttle inputs. Despite of being a diesel engine, it is smooth and, trust me, very silent below 2500 RPM. The car can conquer any terrain without any issues. The initial torque is very good in all driving modes, especially in the 4 low, because there you won't find mid or top end as it is not required. In fact, in the high gear, the mid range is very progressive, plus the top end is also good. While driving this car on the highways, it was so silent, and in fact it does speeds above 120 kmph very easily in the 6th gear, despite of being such a heavy car. When you rev the engine hard, only then you get the sound in the cabin. That too is also like a roar and doesn't feel unpleasant. There are no vibrations in the lower revs, and the NVH levels are very low considering it is a diesel engine. I believe the petrol one will be even better because the performance figures are better on the petrol, including the torque, which is equal. Plus, we all know petrol engines are silent when compared with diesel. The drivability of this car is very good, as you can easily judge the complete dimensions, which makes it easier to drive in any condition. The view from the driver's seat is very clear. However, the B-pillar might cause blind spot while you are entering into a lane or merging with the traffic. The steering is slightly on a stiffer side, but it is very stable. The stiffness is slightly required while going off-roads so that you don't easily lose the control while rocking through the bumps. On highway also, it is very stable and maintains lane. The only challenge the steering poses is while driving in cities, as there is a lot of turning involved. That brings us to the turning radius of 5.2 meters, which is decent as this is a big SUV. brakes are scary powerful, give good amount of feedback and can bring this 1.7 ton off-roader to a rock steady halt in no time. As soon as you put a light foot on the brake pedal, you could feel the brakes engaging. The bite is absolutely great and the disc drum setup provides good efficiency. ABS with EBD works like a charm and ensures that there are no wheel lockup. In fact, the ABS is also not very intrusive. It only kicks in when required. Mahindra did a phenomenal job by ditching the leaf suspensions and installing the coil dampers. It really helps in making the driving experience even better. The car can now sail through rough patches without hiccups. While driving, I can't even feel the small patches or potholes. The suspensions are softly sprung to aid in off-road adventures, and well, you do move a lot while jumping it through this terrain. But it is more enjoyment than torture, and I really love it because you could just directly connect with the terrain below you. I would love to take this Thar to sand dunes and snowy roads and see how it performs. For that matter, I should tell you, the stability at high speed is also very amazing. It just sticks to the road and runs like a normal SUV. The body roll can be felt while going into the curves at high speed, and it is bound to happen as this is a tall SUV with good ground clearance. But need not worry, as the ESP with rollover mitigation has got your back. Although a word of advice for people having motion sickness: avoid sitting in this car, especially on off-roads, else you are up for a heavy drive. I can say with confidence that this car is more closer to Jeep Wrangler than to the first generation Thar, because it has a very good refined and powerful engine. It has all the electronic aids that needs to be backpacked before an off-road adventure. It has all the technological advancements without making it overly sophisticated, making it simple yet advanced. I like the attention to detail and the build quality, which makes it worth the price tag. Our time in this beautiful landscape has come to an end. With that, our drive with the Mahindra Thar has also ended. Definitely this car is a good buy, and it is best suited as your secondary car rather than your primary one. And the reason is very simple, because I can imagine myself taking this car on an adventurous trip with a +1. I love this car and it's made in India. So if you like it too, you can get it starting from 12 lakhs going all the way up to 14 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi. So the choice is yours. I hope this video was helpful for you. Do give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss out great content from Rev Explorers. We are also present on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. So if you have any doubts or any queries, leave it in the comment section below or directly get in touch with us on our social media pages. We will see you again in the next video. Till that time, stay home, stay safe, bye bye.